with US President Donald Trump, who is set to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday the ceasefire in Ukraine. Ukraine has already accepted a 30-day ceasefire proposal, but Russia has not yet committed. The two leaders will talk about key issues, including land and power plants, as both sides continue heavy aerial strikes. Russia insists any peace deal must find commitments that Ukraine remain neutral and not join NATO. Moscow also opposes any NATO military presence in Ukraine. While the US remains and may need to make concessions in comparison remains negotiated. Drawn down and 20 and military. Meanwhile, reportedly, sanctions are underway with the far the situation clash going.
I'll be speaking to the president. A lot of work's been done over the weekend. Maybe we can, maybe we can't.
Thomas, thank you very much for joining me. What more can you tell us about these talks that are set to happen and the other information we've had in the Russia-Ukraine 4 hours or so?
Well, essentially, Joshua, these are going to be direct talks with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. This would not have happened under the Biden administration, where these kind of direct talks between adversaries was something that was left out. The war is obviously entering its 4th year now, and Trump has expressed on the meeting, but has of the outcome has been done over the weekend, with US and Russian officials having negotiated between Washington and Kiev. The topics will be based on control of territory, and we acceptance ceasefire is very dependent on the Russians gaining these territories. Now, these include Crimea. These include other territories which Russia have taken in the Ukraine war. Another subject was that these talks are going to be based on. Now, why are these so important? Ukraine relies very, very heavily on its power plants for obviously its electricity. Prior to the conflict, nuclear reactors generated about half of the country's electricity. Loss or damage to these facilities severely hampers both Ukrainian civilians' day-to-day life and their capabilities on the battlefield. Also, these power plants, which will, if the Russians get their way, will be under Russian control. The economic impact is vast. Okay, power plants are integral to Ukraine's economy, and that is something that Russia wants to acquire. Another thing of this is obviously psychological warfare. The Russians are pushing for more and more gains in this peace deal. They have the upper hand, some people say, and this will be seen as a possible concession by that the Ukrainian people might have to take if these talks move forward.
Yes, Thomas, looking at potential concessions, we mentioned in the reading, Russia, of course, advancing in the Kursk region, also making gains in Ukrainian territory. What is Volodymyr Zelensky's incentive to make concessions and potentially take concessions? And on the flip side, why is Vladimir Putin inclined to even sign this agreement, given the fact that many experts say that his army is winning the war?
Well, Russia will also want an end to this war. Vladimir Putin has been very vocal about that, or so he said. kind of want these ironclad guarantees from the rest of the Western world, from Donald Trump, who's obviously very powerful. He wants an end to this war. And so if Vladimir Putin can ensure Ukraine doesn't join NATO, ensures that it gets the territories that they want in a kind of legal way, and that's approved by Donald Trump, they're going to be all for that.
Thomas Porteous, thank you for joining us on this story. You will be sticking with us, but we move on to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.